I took it upon myself to help my older neighbor work through her emotional knot. Afterward, I was afraid my family would find out, so I packed my bags overnight and raced to the airport like a madman. The moment I boarded, I frantically urged the crew to take off at once. The second I collapsed into my seat, I caught sight of dozens of black sedans speeding toward us. My face went deathly pale. It felt like the blood in my veins had frozen. Qi Youyou. She was coming for me. I looked down at my body. The marks from before were still there. One glance would tell her everything. If she caught me today, then for the rest of my life, I would never be able to stay by her side again. As the convoy drew closer, I stared out the window in despair. The next second, a dazzling woman stepped from a car, surrounded by people. Even though I knew she could not see me inside the cabin, terror still swallowed me whole. I wanted to smash the plane window and jump out to escape. Just as Qi Youyou was about to reach the plane suddenly began taxiing down the runway. In barely 2 minutes, it lifted off the ground. I watched that breathtakingly beautiful woman come to a stop, growing smaller and smaller in my sight, until she vanished beneath the clouds. 7 days later, I flew back to Qingyang City on a commercial flight. Days of travel had left me in terrible shape. If I faced Qi Youyou, she would see right through me. I spent a full 7 days recuperating abroad before I finally got myself together. I'd already learned Qi Youyou was leaving on business today. I deliberately chose today to return, hoping we would happen to miss each other. But I never expected her to postpone the trip until the following afternoon. I immediately changed direction and headed straight for Xingyu, Qingyang City's biggest bar. It was peak hour at the bar. I stepped onto the dance floor, moving with easy abandon. The bar's dim, intoxicating lights could not hide my refined features. My naturally distinguished air still made me impossible to ignore in the crowd. On the dance floor, quite a few women had been watching me for a while. One casually dressed woman had her eyes fixed on me and quietly edged closer. Noticing her approach, I gestured for her to stop and move the other way. But she ignored me, continuing to press closer. Her hand even reached toward me, as if by accident. Just as her hand was about to touch my clothes, I firmly caught her wrist. With a light tug, I sent her back a few steps. The people around us instantly moved aside. I straightened the hem of my clothes and slowly walked toward her. HMPH, didn't you come here to hit on someone? The woman cut herself off. I stepped closer, staring at her coldly. I dressed to stand out, because I want to. It is not to please anyone, and certainly not an excuse for people like you to have filthy thoughts. Remember this. Before trying to get to know someone, learn to show respect. I drew back my foot, then turned and left the dance floor. Cheers and applause erupted around me. At the same time, I noticed a friend I'd been having fun with, waving me over to a booth. I joined them, raised my glass, and clinked drinks with everyone at the booth. Everyone applauded and cheered at my impressive drinking. I shrugged. It is nothing. I casually took out my phone and saw a message from Qi Youyou. I froze for several seconds. During those 7 days hiding abroad, I posted vacation photos every day to keep up the illusion, but I had barely been in contact with Qi Youyou since growing up. It was the first time I had gone so long without speaking to her. Even a simple text from her now made my heart race uncontrollably. I quickly wiped my hands clean and checked it. Qi Youyou asked, "Where are you?" I replied, "I am sleeping at the hotel. I will be back tomorrow." "Where are you?" "Hehe. Sister Youyou, have you missed me?" "I have really missed you." "I am right behind you. Come have a drink with me." My legs went weak with fright, and I nearly fell. Luckily, someone beside me caught me in time. "Are you drunk?" I shook my head, taking a deep breath to steady myself. I was still muttering under my breath. My friend looked completely confused. "What are you talking about?" I could not understand a word. "Nothing." I gave a small smile. An elder in my family asked me to go have a drink. "It is just a drink. What is the big deal?" HMPH. I turned and headed to Qi Youyou's booth. She wore a dark, floor-length dress and lounged lazily in the booth. As I approached, she swept her gaze over me coolly. A second ago, I had been full of bravado. The next, I tossed aside my glass and went to Qi Youyou, lowering my head in apology. "Sister Youyou, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I truly repent. I repent from the depths of my soul." She idly swirled the wine in her glass. Her red lips curled unconsciously. What did you do wrong? With a serious expression, I said, I shouldn't have come here to party in the middle of the night. The moment I said that, she stopped swirling her wine glass and gave me a sit-along stare. That one look alone made my heart pound wildly. That night from 7 days ago rose unbidden in my mind. Was she here to make me answer for it? Heh. Sister Youyou, is it too late for me to run? What do you think? I think I still can. My smile vanished at once. I stood up, turned around, and ran. But before I took 2 steps, a crowd surged in front of me and boxed me in. I immediately saw that woman from before walking toward me. She said smugly, "Did you really think I couldn't find you? Just wait and see what I do to you today." I cut her off immediately. What about today? What are you going to do to me? I challenged her aloud, without backing down physically either. I calmly raised my hand and brushed aside her reaching hand. My manner was cold and distant, without a shred of mercy. Not only the people surrounding me, but even that fierce-looking woman, were stunned on the spot. She never expected the refined-looking man before her to fight with such decisive force. After the confrontation, I was somewhat exhausted too. I wanted to use the chance to slip away, but just as I turned, my gaze swept toward the woman on the sofa. She turned slightly sideways, her fingertips loosely holding a wine glass. When I looked over, her red lips curved faintly. She tipped back her head and drained her glass. Her eyes never left me, as if she had everything under control. My heart sank. I am done for. I am afraid I will not be leaving tonight. Sister Youyou deliberately spread word that she was away on business. She did it to lure me back and catch me. There was no avoiding this tonight. Just what I would expect from the meticulous Miss Qi. I walked over to Qi Youyou and sat right beside her. Sister Youyou, those people look so scary. The moment I said that, the whole place fell silent. Qi Youyou, however, looked entirely unsurprised. As she said, "Move over a little." No. Look at those people. They look like gangsters. They were even trying to gang up on me. The group opposite us was utterly dumbfounded. What are you even talking about? Who is supposed to be the helpless one here? Who was the one who got physical just now? Sister. Look at her. She is so vicious. She can't compare to you at all. The woman instantly lost her temper. I don't care how many different sides you have. Listen to me. Tonight, you're mine. What good is running to a woman to complain? You should have asked around. Who around here doesn't know Sister Hong? I immediately shook Qi Youyou. Sister. She actually said you could not help me. How can she be so awful? It was bad enough that she touched my hand. Then she said you were useless. Sister. I cannot stand anyone speaking badly of you. No one. Qi Youyou caught hold of my wrist. Her expression turned serious as she asked, "She touched your hand?" Yes. When her gaze swept over that woman, she looked at her as if she were a lifeless object. The woman retreated again and again, but seeing the people she had brought with her, she instantly found her nerve again. I do not care who you are, but let me tell you this. In this area, everyone has to show me some respect. Guys, get up there and stop them. Just then, the bar light suddenly blazed on. The front doors were pushed open from outside. Security personnel hurried forward and politely stopped the group. They brought the chaos under control. After everything was handled, all the bodyguards looked up in unison and respectfully called out, "Miss Qi." The woman, who had been struggling, froze at once. "Qi, Miss Qi?" That woman was actually Miss Qi. It is over. I am completely finished. Qi Youyou was known for being decisive and perceptive. She had an excellent reputation throughout Qingyang City's social circles. The woman looked toward Qi Youyou and saw me still saying something beside Miss Qi. That was so scary, Sister Youyou. I was terrified. Good thing Sister Youyou was here. But the woman could clearly see that there was not a trace of panic in my eyes. Qi Youyou was even smiling at her. Yet in her eyes was an indescribable, chilling coldness. The woman's heart turned to ashes. This time, she had really messed up. She had only wanted to flirt with him. She never expected to provoke Miss Qi's rumored love interest. The woman's eyes slowly went from trembling to utter despair. Qi Youyou said coolly, "The usual." Then she linked her arm through mine and calmly walked past the woman. We walked out of the bar. I slowly leaned close to Qi Youyou's ear and said, "Sister Youyou, let me tell you a secret." The secret is, I suddenly shouted, "Sister Youyou, I have a girlfriend." while Qi Youyou was still stunned. I pushed her away and ran in the other direction, but before I had taken 2 steps, 3 or 4 bodyguards blocked my path. Then the woman's gentle voice rang out, "A-Chen, come here." I froze. I thought to myself, I am done for. Knowing her, the gentler she sounded, the angrier she was. If I kept this up, it probably would not work. But I truly did not want to surrender so obediently. After all, I had done something so outrageous 7 days ago. If she really meant to settle that score, would I even make it out of this bar? I gritted my teeth and turned around. I shot Qi Youyou a resentful look and pretended to be aggrieved as I said, "I understand. I will do as Sister Youyou says." But after 2 steps, I deliberately tripped over my own feet and fell straight to the ground. Ouch, that hurts so much. I cried out loudly, carefully glancing at the woman ahead of me. When she did not react at all, I hurriedly kept playing the victim. I am so miserable. I only came back because I forgot something. Instead, someone had to snap at me. Fine, she snapped at me. But now I have fallen, and no one even cares. Had I known, I would never have come back. It should not have come to this. Sitting on the ground with no one caring, I complained pitifully over and over. The woman, who had been standing by the car with fury written all over her face, heard my accusations and let out a soft sigh. Then she took several deep breaths, closed her eyes, and told herself, "Stay calm. He is the person closest to me. I cannot get angry." After giving herself that pep talk, she turned back to me. I looked at her pitifully and held out my hand for her to pull me up. Though Qi Youyou looked like she did not want to bother with me, she still reached out and pulled me to my feet. Once I was up, I took Qi Youyou's hand and thought to myself, so what if she is an old fox? She still does exactly as I want. Hehehe. Handling her is child's play. Youyou held my hand and took me back to the Lu residence. When the servants saw me limping, they immediately went on high alert. The entire Lu residence was instantly lit up. When the medical team arrived at top speed, they saw the scene in the living room and did not dare so much as breathe. I sat on the sofa, while the high and mighty Miss Qi crouched beside me, applying medicine to my swollen ankle. I unhappily pulled my foot back and complained, "Sister Youyou, be gentler. It hurts. Maybe you should just leave me alone." Qi Youyou held my ankle, without even looking up. "Do not move. I am almost done." Seeing Qi Youyou react that way, I got a little upset too. So I said, "I do not care. You are being so cold to me, and you even snapped at me. I do not want to talk to you. Go away." Hearing my unreasonable outburst, she lowered her head in silence for a moment. Then she softly said to me, "A-Chen, we can talk about everything else later. Let us treat your injury first, all right?" I merely gave a cold snort. Qi Youyou sighed and said, "I am sorry. My attitude was bad just now. I will make it up to you later. Let us treat your injury first, all right?" That satisfied me. So I answered right away, "Since you have sincerely apologized, I will forgive you. HMPH, I am not as petty as you." Qi Youyou laughed in exasperation. Yes, our A-Chen is the most generous and handsome of all." Her coaxing cheered me up, and I stopped making a fuss. Before long, my ankle had been treated. Qi Youyou even went to the kitchen herself and cooked me a bowl of plain rice porridge. As I drank the porridge, Qi Youyou watched me and suddenly asked, "A-Chen, you still have not explained this girlfriend business." I made up an excuse to brush her off. It is just, we are not together yet. I just kind of like her." I kept drinking, as if nothing was wrong, not daring to see Qi Youyou's reaction, but I could feel the chill in her gaze. Qi Youyou pressed on, asking her name and how we had met. I put down my bowl and chopsticks, then asked in confusion, "Sister, are you conducting a background check?" Qi Youyou stared at me, her arms folded, saying nothing. I had told the lie, so I had to keep it going. So I had no choice but to keep improvising. "Well, she is a former college classmate. We are not even together yet, but with you interrogating me like this, how could I dare date her?" Qi Youyou asked coldly, "What is her name?" I stubbornly lifted my chin and said, "I am not telling you." Qi Youyou called my name, displeasure darkening her face. "A-Chen." As she spoke, her fingers stroked the bracelet on her wrist. When I saw that gesture, I knew I had angered her again. I knew I had pushed her far enough and could not keep confronting her head on. So I softened my tone a little and said, "Sister Youyou, we are only classmates right now. We are not officially together. I am only considering it. I am still thinking it over. I paused, then continued. Well, 7 days ago, I played games with her all night. We argued over something trivial. I was so angry that I immediately flew abroad to have some fun. That is why I said I still need to think about it. She has such a bad temper. How could she be my girlfriend? Qi Youyou asked suspiciously. You played games with her all night? Yes. You know I love gaming. I met Qi Youyou's eyes. She often plays games with me. We play all night. But I do not think that is healthy. As I spoke, I took my phone from my pocket and opened my game history for Qi Youyou to see. The latest record was still from 7 days ago. The last game had ended at dawn. Qi Youyou checked the timestamps. I secretly watched her expression, wondering whether she believed me. When Qi Youyou looked away, I acted as though nothing was wrong, and casually added, Sister, I am not refusing to tell you who she is. I just do not think there is any need to. I might not even end up with her. Qi Youyou did not answer immediately. After a while, she simply said, Then do not be with her. My voice turned a little sad. I am not telling you anymore. I was already in a bad mood, and talking about it makes me sad. I am going upstairs. I got up and headed for the elevator. Qi Youyou turned and watched me walk normally. She teased, A-Chen, does your leg not hurt anymore? I realized what I had done, and immediately yelped, Ouch. Then I deliberately limped into the elevator. As the elevator doors closed, the smile faded from Qi Youyou's face. At that moment, a bodyguard approached with a laptop and respectfully reported, Miss Qi, the corridor surveillance footage from 7 days ago has been restored. Qi Youyou withdrew her gaze from the elevator. The bodyguard opened the laptop before her, and the footage began to play. But moments later, the entire screen suddenly went black. The room fell silent. Qi Youyou's eyes were dark and calm. As she looked up at the bodyguard, cold sweat broke out across his forehead. Please forgive me, Miss Qi. The surveillance footage has been damaged for 7 days. I assembled the best experts from home and abroad. This is the best we could recover. Hearing that, Qi Youyou's voice grew even gentler. I gave you time to restore it, and this is what you restored from me. Miss Qi, please give me one more chance. I will definitely restore it. 2 days. I will give you only 2 days. If you still cannot do it, I trust you know the consequences. When I returned to my room, I collapsed onto the bed as all strength left me. My heart pounded wildly in my chest. Several messages flooded onto my phone, but I did not even have time to check them. Only after I had calmed down did I pick up my phone again. Every message came from the same person, Lidong. He had been my close friend for 10 years and was a top cybersecurity expert, a computer genius. He and I have founded a renowned cybersecurity firm in Xingyu. All my earlier bickering with Qi Youyou had only been to buy time for Lidong to alter the display of the game records on my phone. Find a way to get the original file of that footage. A-Chen, I have an idea. You could just admit what happened that night. Do you not want to be Qi Youyou's husband? It would solve 2 problems at once. I frowned and replied, No, I do not want responsibility to bind 2 people together. When it comes to love, I will not accept a relationship where only one person gives. I love Qi Youyou. Then she has to love me too. Only then does our love count. Besides, I am far too ambitious, and my methods are not exactly clean. She might think I am a freak. What I fear most is her looking at me as though I were a monster. Just thinking about it is unbearable. I got my emotions under control and put away my phone. I had just stood up to wash up when Lidong, whom I had just finished messaging, suddenly called. We have a job. Yeah, we just received a commission. Lidong deliberately drew out the suspense, pausing briefly before continuing. You will be very interested. The corner of my mouth twitched. Do not tell me. Qi Youyou came to us to investigate the man from that night. Ha ha. Lidong nearly burst out laughing. If that were the case, that would be hilarious. But unfortunately, as the most powerful woman in Xingyu, she has her own professional team. She has no need to seek outside help. I could not be bothered to play along, so I asked directly, What is it then? Lidong answered unhurriedly. Here is a hint. The client is someone from the Sheng family. Without a moment's thought, I gave the exact answer. Sheng Yanzhi. Lidong applauded me, impressed by my accurate guess. Then he asked, There is something I am curious about. Can you explain it to me? What? You deliberately spread word that the younger uncle who vanished 18 years ago was returning to seize control of the Sheng family. How could you be so sure Sheng Yanzhi would come, instead of someone else from the Sheng family? I smiled and said, Sheng Yanzhi has been well known since childhood, and now he is praised to the skies. But Sheng Yanzi's mother worries he will show his brilliance too soon, so she keeps him restrained. That has left Sheng Yanzhi dissatisfied, always wanting to prove his worth. Lidong gave a soft laugh and continued. So, once the rumor was spread, the others in the Sheng family would take notice, but they would not act. The proud, arrogant Sheng Yanzhi would see it as the perfect stepping stone to prove himself. Now I understand. Do not worry. I will carefully arrange a perfect meeting for you. I will send you the address later. After ending the call with Lidong, I received the address for tomorrow's meeting with Sheng Yanzhi. Holding my phone, I murmured. Before I knew it, 18 years had passed. I could not help slipping into my memories. My real name is Sheng Chen. I am Old Master Sheng's only blood heir. The Sheng family is now led by my eldest brother, but he was a child Madame Sheng had out of wedlock. After Madame Sheng died, Old Master Sheng pitied him and raised him as his own son. After Old Master Sheng had me, he focused on training me to become the Sheng family's heir. But when I was 8, Old Master Sheng suddenly disappeared, and my eldest brother tricked me onto a vehicle headed across the border. But I was not meant to die. I met Qi Youyou, so I clung to that single lifeline and stayed by her side, quietly rebuilding my strength. Now, after years of careful planning, I will return the Sheng family fortune to its rightful owner and make them pay the price they deserve. The next day, I arrived at the cafe where I was to meet Sheng Yanzhi. After waiting a full hour, Sheng Yanzhi finally showed up. I studied the man before me, though we had grown up together. After all these years, we had both changed. If I had not known who he was beforehand, I would never have recognized Sheng Yanzhi. Sheng Yanzhi spoke in an arrogant voice. Sorry, I had a brief meeting, so I am a little late. Yet there was not a trace of apology in his manner. He was the Sheng family's eldest young master, and Xingyang's most handsome man. Of course people should wait half an hour for him. Some people could not even get an appointment with him. I shook my head and said, It is fine. I just arrived myself. Then I offered my hand and introduced myself. Lu-Chen, I am handling your commission. Sheng Yanzhi gave an arrogant, dismissive reply, then went straight to the point. Hello. I plan to host a gathering in 3 days. Mr. Lu, can you bring my younger uncle there? I nodded. Of course. As for the price, Sheng Yanzhi gestured for me to check my phone. Mr. Lu, check your phone. I raised a brow and took out my phone. There was a bank deposit notification. Silently, I counted the amount. Young Master Sheng certainly was generous. He had paid double, with an extra sum on top. I received word that Miss Qi has a private business dinner tonight. With this money, I want you, Mr. Lu, to find the exact address and get me an invitation to that dinner. His words made me pause. It seemed this eldest young master's target was my sister Youyou. Things were getting interesting. My lips curved slightly as I asked, Young Master Sheng, are you planning a chance encounter with Miss Qi at the dinner? Miss Qi and I, in both family background and looks, are the perfect match. Unfortunately, we have always just missed our chance to meet. Then he declared proudly, since Miss Qi is destined to fall from me, I may as well take the initiative and arrange an encounter. It will become a celebrated love story. I silently listened to Sheng Yanzhi as he said this. He was utterly certain and confident. He was convinced that once Qi Youyou saw him, she would fall in love with him at first sight. He sure was confident. Who gave him such confidence? When Sheng Yanzhi finished speaking, he saw that I remained silent and asked instead, Mr. Lu, do you see a problem? Or can you not do it? He stared at me, his manner somewhat aggressive. I thought to myself, he is testing me to see what I am capable of. It seemed this commission was truly important. If I failed, years of careful planning would be destroyed overnight. So, I had to get it right. With that thought, I smiled and said, Young Master Sheng, give me 5 minutes. Sheng Yanzhi glanced at his watch. I will give you only 2. Make it work. I rose from my seat and walked to a corner at the far end. Then I called Qi Youyou directly. She answered quickly. What is it? You have a gathering tonight? I asked, watching Sheng Yanzhi, the one Zhou Jianing arranged. What is it, A-Chen? Qi Youyou asked, puzzled. I ignored her question. Do you know Sheng Yanzhi? Qi Youyou replied. I have heard of him. Why? Does this involve him? So he will be at your gathering tonight. Did you know? Qi Youyou was silent for a moment before saying. Zhou Jianing is close to him. Tonight's gathering was arranged for him too. The moment she said that, I understood. Sheng Yanzhi had staged this to test my abilities. He had done it deliberately, to see whether I could uncover it. Finally, I said to her, Sheng Yanzhi will attend this gathering. Without caring what Qi Youyou said, I hung up. Then I remembered that, ever since yesterday, I had avoided breakfast with Qi Youyou. I was afraid she would press me about the girlfriend issue. And what happened that night? Hopefully, she had forgotten. I smiled again, and returned to my seat. Rest assured, young Master Sheng. Tonight, you and Qi Youyou will have a beautiful encounter. Sheng Yanzhi gave a soft laugh. Then I looked forward to it. With that, he left arrogantly. The moment Sheng Yanzhi left, Lidong's call came in. I told him everything that had just happened with Sheng Yanzhi, from beginning to end. Lidong paused for several seconds after hearing it, then burst into wild laughter. Ha ha! He laughed so hard that he fell out of his office chair. This young Master Sheng is really something. Lidong was at a loss for words. After thinking for ages, he still could not find the right word. He could only say, confident. Anyway, very, very confident, but I was a little unhappy. I thought to myself, Sheng Yanzhi knew exactly what he wanted. He had probably planned it long ago, using this gathering to get close to Qi Youyou. What made him so confident that Qi Youyou would like him? When Lidong got no response, he asked, A-Chen, are you afraid there might be sparks between them? I could not answer. Was I afraid? Not exactly. It was just that whenever I thought of Sheng Yanzhi getting close to Qi Youyou, I felt unhappy. But I had neither the standing nor the right to tell Qi Youyou, do not get involved with Sheng Yanzhi. At that thought, a wave of bitterness rose in my chest. Your worries are unnecessary. Miss Qi could never have any sparks with Sheng Yanzhi. He comforted me. You have seen it yourself. All these years, has there been any other man by Miss Qi's side? With that noble, icy look that keeps strangers away, who would dare approach her? Lidong's words instantly made me laugh. He was right. Over the years, many men had tried to get close to Qi Youyou, but every one of them had failed. I was an exception among exceptions. Who was closer to Qi Youyou than I was? At 9 that evening, I took Sheng Yanzhi to Qi Youyou's private business gathering, with me accompanying him. Sheng Yanzhi was not pleased. Seeing his displeased expression, I explained, this is a private gathering. With me accompanying you, young Master Sheng can receive first-hand information on Miss Qi in real time. But upon hearing that, he gave a cold snort. HMPH, you did not need to come at all. Just give me the address. You are really sticking your nose where it does not belong. I said nothing. Though I knew he did not need me at all, I still wanted to know how Qi Youyou interacted with others, whether it differed from how she treated me, and exactly how. When Sheng Yanzhi saw he could not change my mind, though reluctant, he tacitly allowed me to follow him. I handed the invitation to a staff member, who led us inside. At Miss Qi's private gathering, those in attendance were naturally Qingyang City's most elite young heiresses. At that moment, the 4 women at the gathering were gossiping about Qi Youyou. I actually just saw Miss Qi playing some childish game. That honor of kings thing. Oh, I know about that. Her young master lost 10 matches in a row recently, and was furious for a full 2 hours. Miss Qi is earning rank stars for him. Just then, a 3rd young lady joined in, saying mysteriously, I have not seen her young master in ages. I wonder. Her voice abruptly cut off, because she saw the young master she was talking about. Our eyes met. She gave an awkward smile, and fell silent. The other 3 young ladies were all stunned when they saw me. Then their gazes shifted to Sheng Yanzhi beside me, their looks full of unspoken meaning. I smiled at them, then quietly reminded Sheng Yanzhi, young Master Sheng, Miss Qi is inside. Sheng Yanzhi nodded and walked over. I followed close behind. Once we had walked away, the women exchanged looks before saying, what is the young master up to now? He brought the eldest son of the Sheng family to set him up with Miss Qi. Did he not get angry when Miss Qi went on a blind date before? Was he not furious for a long time? Why is he suddenly introducing someone to her? In the end, they concluded, it was best not to meddle and the young master's affairs. If he truly lost his temper, none of us would have any peace. The women promptly fell silent. The moment Sheng Yanzhi and I entered the room, we heard an excited announcement from a phone. Pentakill. That was incredible. Oh my god, Qi Youyou, you are my goddess. Right then, I wanted to run over and hold Qi Youyou, then kiss her. But there were people around, so I abandoned that thought. Sheng Yanzhi caught hold of me and said, "Just stay here. I will go greet Miss Qi." I was curious too. Just how would this young Master Sheng show off his personal charm and win Qi Youyou over? From this angle, I could see the woman on the sofa clearly. She lounged lazily against the sofa, her long, slender legs crossed. After fiddling with her phone for a while, she tossed it aside and complained, "It is just a lousy game." I do not know why A-Chen got so worked up. He was so angry he would not even eat. Is it really that serious? I gave a quiet snort and thought, Miss Qi, do you think everyone is as gifted as you? Even that lousy game is difficult. I looked at Sheng Yanzhi. He was in no rush to greet Qi Youyou. Instead, he poured 2 glasses of champagne first. As he walked toward Qi Youyou, the champagne in Sheng Yanzhi's hand sloshed inside the glass. He was not planning to spill his drink on Qi Youyou. Using such a tired old trick, was he? No way. The moment I thought that, I saw Sheng Yanzhi about to reach Qi Youyou, and the liquid began to sway. Qi Youyou warily raised her eyes. Her icy gaze made Sheng Yanzhi go rigid at once, forgetting how to react. Qi Youyou frowned as she stared at the stranger, but when her peripheral vision swept over to me sitting nearby, the displeasure in her eyes instantly vanished. The corner of her lips even curled up. Sheng Yanzhi quickly regained his composure. Holding his champagne, he sat in the armchair beside Qi Youyou. Then he said seriously, "Miss Qi, I would like to discuss a partnership with you." I discreetly signaled Qi Youyou with my eyes. Qi Youyou withdrew her gaze. It lingered on Sheng Yanzhi for just a second, before she picked up her phone and resumed her game. Sheng Yanzhi was not angered by being ignored. He continued, "Miss Qi, this partnership will certainly interest you. It concerns the young master at Lu residence." Hearing it concerned me, I became interested. I sat up straight and listened closely to their conversation. Only then did Qi Youyou deign to look at Sheng Yanzhi. "Miss Qi, perhaps you do not know, since you have had no marriage prospect for years, there have long been rumors that there is something between you and young Master Lu." Qi Youyou gave a soft laugh. "You have quite the nerve. Do you know what you are saying?" At her words, Sheng Yanzhi clearly sensed Qi Youyou's anger, but he pressed on anyway. "I know you are above it all, and do not care about idle gossip, but the young master is still young. What if it affects him? So at a time like this, if you became engaged, those rumors would naturally fall apart. In all of Qingyang City, only I am worthy of being your husband." I silently watched Sheng Yanzhi's performance, thinking to myself, although Sheng Yanzhi's pickup routine was painfully cliché, I had to admit, he had a compelling presence. He was even rather charming. If I were Qi Youyou, I might actually agree. That made me nervously look toward Qi Youyou. Just then, Qi Youyou glanced at me. The corner of her lips lifted almost imperceptibly. Then she said unhurriedly, "Your proposal is not bad. I will consider it." I froze. What did she mean? I had only been thinking that she might agree, and she actually agreed, having won Qi Youyou's approval. Sheng Yanzhi smiled confidently. "We can discuss how this partnership will work. For example, we could attend a few events together first." That could work. Qi Youyou considered it for a moment, then nodded and said, "Sure. Then how about dinner together tonight?" The instant those words fell, my face darkened. I stared hard at Qi Youyou, thinking, as the untouchable Miss Qi, she was always distant and cold when men approached her. Yet Sheng Yanzhi used only 3 sentences to win her agreement. What was that supposed to mean? Clearly, Qi Youyou wanted something long-term with him. What about me? What am I to her? At that thought, I ground my teeth and muttered, "Qi Youyou, you've got some nerve. I will never speak to you again." I had no desire to listen any longer, so I turned and left. I did not leave the venue. Instead, I went to the lounge outside and frantically texted Qi Youyou. I was so absorbed that I did not notice the lounge door opening. The woman simply stood there, watching me. Meanwhile, her phone kept vibrating from my messages. Qi Youyou then closed the door and stepped in front of me. I suddenly met Qi Youyou's eyes. She raised a brow and said, "A-Chen, you called me a bad woman." Remembering how Qi Youyou had responded to Sheng Yanzhi, I shot back, "Am I wrong? You just go along with whatever he says. Since when has the famed Miss Qi become so stupid? Move. I do not want to deal with you." I stood up, pushed her aside, and started for the door. But Qi Youyou looped her arm through mine again, teasing, "Anyone the young master brings deserves some courtesy. Otherwise, the young master will get angry and start scolding people." I clenched my teeth and said, "Oh, is that so? Then thank you, Miss Qi, for giving me some face." Qi Youyou said with a smile, "You are welcome. I do not give just anyone that courtesy. Only our young master gets it." I gave a cold snort and said sarcastically, "Then, Miss Qi, you should get back to your business. Young Master Sheng is still waiting for you. I am off to find my future girlfriend. Bye-bye." Qi Youyou's expression instantly darkened. "Future girlfriend? You two are already together?" Feigning surprise, I said, "What else? While I am young, of course I should enjoy dating. I do not want to be like Miss Qi, still without a partner, and needing some ridiculous partnership. It is laughable." I shook off her hand and headed for the door. After only a few steps, I heard her voice behind me. "You have two choices. Either cut things off with that person yourself, or I will personally speak to them and make things clear." I turned around. She looked at me expressionlessly. Though I was panicking inside, I stubbornly retorted, "You can see other people, so why can't I?" "Qi Youyou, you can't use being older than me as an excuse to interfere in my love life." Qi Youyou ignored what I said and merely continued, "A-Chen, do not make me repeat myself." I did not want to argue anymore. I simply waved her off and made up an excuse. "Sheng Yanzhi is still waiting outside. I am heading out." Watching me walk away, Qi Youyou restrained the urge to drag me back. "He's mine. Do not get angry. Stay calm." But less than a minute later, Qi Youyou made a call. "I asked you to investigate one person, and you could not even do that. What a pack of useless idiots I employ. Within 24 hours, I want to know who the woman he is in love with is." Meanwhile, I composed myself and returned to the gathering. When Sheng Yanzhi saw me, he frowned slightly and said irritably, "I was just looking for you. You disappeared for so long. Where did you run off to?" "Sorry. My stomach was bothering me, so I stayed in the restroom a little longer." Sheng Yanzhi's eyes shone with pride and confidence. "Delighted," he said. "Forget it. None of that matters. We should go. Also, I have good news. Miss Qi invited me to have dinner with her." The composure I had just regained was shattered by Sheng Yanzhi's words, and my defenses cracked again. "Qi Youyou, what exactly are you trying to do? Someone who never initiated invitations actually invited him out?" No, something was definitely off. I wanted to rush back and demand an explanation, but right then, I still had to see Sheng Yanzhi out. I saw Sheng Yanzhi off with a smile. The moment he left, I shoved open the door to the private gathering, making a huge racket. The young ladies inside were about to lose their tempers, but when they saw who had opened the door, was Miss Qi's young master, they pretended they had seen nothing. At a glance, I spotted Qi Youyou about to sit down for Mahjong. I frowned, and an idea came to me. I walked over with a sweet smile. "Miss Qi, you are certainly enjoying yourself." Before I could finish, another woman interrupted me. "A-Chen, perfect. You can sit at Miss Qi's table." The speaker was Zhou Shi, one of Qi Youyou's closest friends. I ignored her and said sarcastically, "I am not sitting at Miss Qi's table." What if Sheng Yanzhi suddenly comes back and sees us? That would be hard to explain. The moment I said that, the players seated immediately after Qi Youyou hurriedly left. Sensing the tense atmosphere, Zhou Shi wanted to leave too. "I have something to take care of. So, you to have fun. I will be going." But I stopped her. In the end, she could only say tactfully, "I have something to handle later. I will leave after 2 rounds." Ignoring her answer, I asked, "Sister Zhou, what are the stakes?" Zhou Shi glanced furtively at Qi Youyou and said, "We are just playing for fun. There are no real stakes. Come on. Playing for nothing is so dull." I recall Miss Qi has plans in the southern suburbs to build a resort. If Sister Youyou loses, How about she gives the resort to today's winner? With that, I looked provocatively at Qi Youyou. Zhou Shi did not dare chime in. Clearly, the young master was upset about Miss Qi going out to dinner, and was looking to vent. Qi Youyou would indulge him, but she would not indulge us. If the young master started making trouble, we would be the ones to suffer. No, I should finish this hand, then find an excuse to slip away. Zhou Shi turned to Qi Youyou. Qi Youyou nodded, and said coolly, "Then let us begin." Zhou Shi exchanged glances with the other young lady, and sighed. They had no choice but to humor me. I was obviously looking to vent my anger, sitting after Qi Youyou. As long as it kept Qi Youyou from drawing a tile, I called every tile I could, even ones I had no right to claim. My only goal was to target Qi Youyou. After 2 rounds, Qi Youyou had run out of chips, and Zhou Shi unexpectedly became the winner. Fine. I will have my lawyer transfer the resort paperwork to you later. Qi Youyou agreed without hesitation. Sitting there, some of my anger finally eased. Qi Youyou looked at me, her lips curling slightly. Then she said unhurriedly, "What a shame. That resort was meant for you, A-Chen, to throw private parties." Then she put on a look of regret and left. I sat frozen in my seat, thinking in disbelief. No, wait, so the resort was built for me? No wonder she did not get angry when I deliberately provoked her and made her lose. Wasn't I just shooting myself in the foot? Damn it. HMPH. Qi Youyou, you are terrible. With that thought, I glared resentfully at Zhou Shi. Zhou Shi hurriedly said, "A-Chen, if you want it, I can give it back. But your sister has to agree. Otherwise," I waved my hand, pretending to be nonchalant as I replied, "A bet is a bet. I accept the loss. I never said I wanted it back. Sister Shi, it is yours." Then I got up and left. The moment I reached the door, I called Lidong and said, "Are you free? Let us go to a bar." Before I could finish, a car pulled up in front of me. The rear window rolled down, revealing Qi Youyou's elegant profile. She looked at me and raised an eyebrow. "A-Chen, you are getting bold. You even dare to go to a bar. Watch it, or for the next 6 months, I will not let you go out and have fun." I asked directly, "Sister Youyou, why are you having dinner with Sheng Yanzhi? A-Chen, why do you not take a guess?" Then she rolled up the window and drove away, leaving me there, grinding my teeth. Qi Youyou would not let me go to a bar, so I could only take my drinks to Lidong's place. Lidong had planned to go out on his motorcycle, but had to cancel his plans. Lidong, just tell me, what does she mean? Has she not always been uninterested in men? Why did she agree to dinner with Sheng Yanzhi after only 3 sentences? Why? What does she mean? After hearing me out, Lidong calmly twisted the knife. What else could it mean? She is a little interested in Sheng Yanzhi. His words left me speechless. I stared at Lidong for a long while, wanting to say something, but unable to. So, without another word, I started drinking. Lidong watched me. After a long while, he sighed and said, "A-Chen, what are you feeling so wronged about? You have been by Miss Qi's side for over a decade, even if she did go out to dinner. How could it possibly mean she intends to date him? It makes no sense." Hearing that, I fell silent. Then he patted my shoulder and continued, "Forget everything else. Just think about your rebellious phase a few years ago. Qi Youyou tried to keep you in line, and you even fought with her. You made Miss Qi so angry. If it were anyone else, they would have been thrown out long ago. But what about her? She could not even bear to say one harsh word to you. Can you really not see that she has feelings for you? So if you really like her, stop being so stubborn. Why not just tell her?" I gripped my glass tightly, thinking to myself, of course I know she treats me well, but precisely because I know that, I am even more afraid. What if she is only used to having me by her side? Once I cross that line, I will not even have a reason to stay beside her. So, until she has feelings for me, I can never let her know that I have fallen for her. We were silent for a while. Then Lidong gave a short laugh and said, "Love between adults is not that complicated. If you want her to love you, then go to her." I froze, drink in hand. Then I said, "You are right. I am going back now." No sooner said than done. I drained the last bottle, then got unsteadily to my feet, insisting that I had to go back. Lidong came through for me. He took me to the Liu estate before leaving. Meanwhile, Qi Youyou had just returned from a drinking party. She had also had quite a bit to drink. After taking a shower, she was just about to sleep when she sensed something was wrong. She turned and saw me, then asked gently, "A-Chen, what are you doing here?" I ignored her, pulling her straight into my arms. My sudden move caught Qi Youyou completely off guard. She froze. Only after a long moment did she think to push me away. After pushing me away, I started drunkenly making a scene again. "I do not care. You cannot leave me. If you leave me today, I will never speak to you again." Helplessly, she could only take my hand and coax me, though I was making quite a scene. A little coaxing was all it took. Holding her hand made me happy. I gave a silly grin and fell asleep holding Qi Youyou. In the dead of night, I jolted awake. I did not dare linger. I climbed out of bed in the dark and quickly fled Qi Youyou's room. I left through the back door, then called Lidong, asking him to pick me up and deal with the security footage. Before long, Lidong arrived on his motorcycle and tossed me a helmet. "I thought you would come clean when you woke up, but you still ran away," Lidong teased. I held the helmet, staring at the motorcycle's backseat. After a moment of silence, I said, "Take the motorcycle back and bring a car instead." "What are you up to?" I avoided the question. "Do not ask. Just switch vehicles like I said." In the end, Lidong called someone to drive me back to his place. When we got to Lidong's house, he had just finished handling the security footage from my return to the Liu estate yesterday. Lidong said seriously, "I need to remind you of two things. First, I have taken care of the surveillance footage, but do not forget to remove the flash drive. Second, that girlfriend you made up out of thin air, Miss Qi is investigating her. Watch yourself these next few days." Hearing that, I frowned. If she really investigates, our lie will be easily exposed. He nodded and said, "That is why I found someone to pretend to be your girlfriend. She is back in her hometown at the moment. I have her information here. Get familiar with it over the next few days." I patted his shoulder and said, "You are a true brother. Thank you for going to all this trouble for my love life. You have worked hard." He waved it off and said, "Do not mention it. It is just my lot in life." With everything arranged, I did not stand on ceremony. I went straight to the room to catch up on sleep. But I did not sleep well. I kept tossing and turning in bed. I got up at first light. When I went to the living room for some water, I found Lidong with his laptop, working in the living room. Curiously, I went over. Lidong closed his laptop and looked at me teasingly. Holding my glass, I bumped his arm. My voice was uneasy. "Qi Youyou, did she find a lead on my fake girlfriend?" Lidong leaned back in his chair and tapped the desk. "You are half right. I already got the woman playing your girlfriend to keep her story straight. She will not be exposed for now. But Sheng Yanzhi has been making big moves lately. You need to watch out." My fingers tightened around the glass. What is he planning now? Does he really think one dinner will seal an arranged marriage with Youyou? It is more than that. Lidong opened his screen and pulled up chat logs and screenshots of evidence. He is courting the Sheng family's old guard, spreading rumors about the marriage alliance, hoping to use Qi Youyou to seize power. He has also paid heavily to hire someone to restore footage from the night the Old Master disappeared. He wants to use you to control Qi Youyou. I lowered my eyes in silence. When I was 8, my older brother arranged for me to be abducted overseas. Qi Youyou was the one who saved me. All these years, I stayed by her side, plotting to reclaim the Sheng family's assets, while hiding my love for her, putting on an act at the bar, inventing a girlfriend, and spitefully losing the resort she built for me on a bet. They were all tests. I was afraid that if I confessed, I would lose even the right to stay by her side. Lidong patted my shoulder. "Stop running. Qi Youyou knows everything. You drunkenly burst into her room. I altered your gaming records for you. 7 days ago, you fled overseas. She knows all of it. When she agreed to have dinner with Sheng Yanzhi, she was only drawing him out and forcing you to face your feelings." I jerked my head up, stunned. She knew everything. Lidong pushed a complete stack of evidence toward me. "Otherwise, why do you think she indulged your little tantrums every time? This contains every scheme Sheng Yanzhi has plotted. I have organized it all. All that is left is to confront him." I thanked Lidong and rushed back to the Liu estate. Qi Youyou was waiting for me in the living room. A cup of warm tea sat beside her. Hearing me arrive, she looked up at me. Her expression was gentle. "Lidong explained everything to you?" Full of guilt, I sat beside her. "Youyou, I am sorry. There was never any female college classmate. I made it all up to make you jealous. That night, 7 days ago, I panicked and fled overseas. In the end, I was just a coward. I did not dare face you. All these years, I have clung to your side, partly to reclaim what belonged to my family, and partly because I craved your tenderness. But I was afraid you would despise my feelings. That is why I kept putting on acts to test you. When I saw you agree to dinner with Sheng Yanzhi that day, my chest felt unbearably tight. I have long seen you as more than a sister. Qi Youyou gave a soft laugh and tousled my hair. When I took you in over a decade ago, I recognized the Sheng family's exclusive jade pendant around your neck. Every lie and little scheme of yours, I have always known. I indulged your antics, only because I was waiting for you to tell me yourself. As for Sheng Yanzhi's marriage proposal, I never took it seriously. I agreed to meet him, only to gather proof that he was destabilizing the Sheng family and spreading rumors. She handed me a thick file. Inside is all the evidence that your older brother plotted to murder grandfather. I have arranged dinner with Sheng Yanzhi tonight. Come with me. We will lay everything out in the open. That night, in a private dining room, Sheng Yanzhi wore an immaculate suit. He was as arrogant and smug as ever. When he saw us arrive together, his smile widened. Miss Qi, this marriage alliance, have you made up your mind? Qi Youyou pushed the evidence in front of him. Drop the act. The proof that you spread rumors and suppressed the other branches of the family is all here. Sheng Yanzhi flipped through the documents. His face instantly went pale. Every trace of his arrogance vanished. I stopped hiding who I was and spoke calmly. I am Sheng Chen, the rightful heir of the Sheng family. You dreamed of seizing power through a marriage alliance, but we have held every piece of evidence all along. Because you are from a branch of the Sheng family, we will not press legal charges, but we will reclaim all your shares and send you to an out-of-town subsidiary to gain experience. If you work honestly, you may still have a future. But if you harbor such vile intentions again, you know the consequences. Knowing there was no way to turn things around, Sheng Yanzhi hung his head in defeat and left. Only the two of us remained in the private room. I clasped her hand tightly and confessed in earnest. Youyou, I do not want to be someone who only follows behind you, throwing childish tantrums. I will set the Sheng family's mess right for the rest of our lives. Could you let me openly stay by your side? Qi Youyou's eyes brimmed with tenderness. She gently squeezed my hand in return. A-Chen, I have waited over a decade to hear you say that. Half a month later, I successfully recovered all the Sheng family's assets and placed them in the care of trusted veteran executives. At last, I was free of years of scheming and heavy burdens. The internet company Lidong and I ran flourished. The resort in the southern suburbs that I had lost in a spiteful bet was voluntarily returned by Zhou Shi. The resort was filled with my favorite game consoles, becoming our private place to be alone together. One weekend, the courtyard was in full bloom, their fragrance filling the air. I took out the diamond ring I had prepared and dropped to one knee before Qi Youyou. Youyou, I used to hide behind an act, concealing my feelings. From now on, there will be no lies and no more tests. I am Sheng Chen, and I am your Chen, yours alone. Year after year, I will be by your side. Will you marry me? Her eyes turned slightly red. Smiling, she held out her hand and let me slide the ring onto her finger. She answered softly, I will. The butler, servants, and Lidong all applauded. The camera captured that warm moment forever. Sunlight blanketed the entire courtyard. Our wedding was held as planned in the golden autumn. Friends from Xingyang's business community and every former Sheng family associate attended. The hall was filled with nothing but blessings, with no more conflict or scheming. After marriage, we each managed our own careers. Those absurd days of jealousy and lies became sweet memories belonging to us alone. Sheng Yanzhi's greed was also kept in check, and we, who had chosen each other, finally found our happy ending. From then on, we were together every day, our love steady and everlasting.